Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out.
What a hot old roll made you feel your pants?
2, 1, and we are live. Welcome, folks, to the American Movie Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. A lot of good stuff to come. Today's review, stick around for this, is Mudbound. Mudbound is available on Netflix. It dropped November 17th. And this is starring Carey Mulligan. If you don't know who Carey Mulligan is, she was in The Great Gatsby. She was phenomenal in this, and it's centered upon her experience mostly, but it's also centered upon this camaraderie between Garrett Hedlund, and he was in Tron, and he plays Jamie in this. And it's centered upon Jason Clarke, he was in Planet of the Apes. And those are the three main cast characters, and then also Jason Mitchell, actually, who plays Ronsel. And it's centered upon the Jim Crow South, and mostly all the problematic things in between that, and the tension between racial prejudice. And it starts with the McAllan families. There's two brothers, Jamie and what's his name? Jamie and I believe, what is it? Jamie and Jason, I believe. No, that's not right. But Jamie and Jason Clarke play brothers. And so they're centered upon this. And there's a weird tension between the brothers because Jamie is very good looking, very charming, always good with the ladies. And Jason is not. And Jason meets Carey McAllan, who's his wife now, and he marries her or whatever, Laura McAllan, and they're having such a tough time in the southern portion of Georgia. And what's really tough about it is it actually depicts how hard the people actually had it back as farmers back in the day in Georgia, because they were very, very poor. Modern luxuries like showers are not available. It was in, I believe, the 1940s is when this was. Because the two brothers of the two families, there's the McAllan family and then the Jackson family. And the Jackson family is a black family that are sharecropping off of the McAllan's farm. So they kind of, they know of each other, and they kind of work alongside, and they just kind of help the McAllan family as sharecropping, but they're not slaves or anything like that. But it's just like there's a horrible tension between the two families just because of race relations. So those two families are coinciding, and then they both have young boys who are sent off to war to fight Hitler. And this is where it gets really, really awesome. I really enjoyed this movie. The boys come back, and they have to deal with all of the trauma that they've endured during their campaigning in war. So they're having so much trouble. Some of them resort to booze. Some of them resort to just not being complacent, always skittish, always antsy, always having this angst. And then the boys come to realize that they both served. So Jamie, who's played by Garrett Hedlund, who was in Tron, and Ronsel, they have this cool collaboration, and they just hang out together, and they actually they meet every Saturday, and they have this cool relationship, and you get to see it prosper in between the two families while also coinciding with the family's differences from the opposing kin. So you get the opposing kin of the older man who is so set in his ways and very, very prejudiced, and then you get Jamie, who is the younger man, and he knows he's had experiences within war that just totally push the race issue and the prejudice that he would probably have if he had not served just by the wayside. So it was really, really interesting to see this, and I absolutely enjoyed this to the utmost, and it was just a very compelling and eye-opening show. And none other than Mary J. Blige is also in this. Mary J. Blige does a great job too in this, and she's plays Ronsel's mother. And she's mother of Ronsel, who is really good friends with Jamie McAllan. So this was an excellent show, and it was just very, very well done. The cinematography was awesome. It just looks like it could be in theaters. It was just very compelling, and all of the shot by shot stuff and the dynamic intro, and then something that's very, very catching, and it just shows the fear of death in the very first few minutes on the farm, and how brutal the living and hostile the environment is, and how violent they have to be in order to just survive. And that violence coincides with both sides of the family, and it's just incredible to see the lifestyle and how crazy 60, 70 years have passed, and it's just not, it's so foreign within the United States anyways. It's so foreign. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this, man. You got to check this out, just because you get to see this cool relationship develop in between the two people, and you get to see how modern luxuries like showers, it's not even that modern, but how they can just make such a difference on the impact of the person's perspective and happiness. So it's really cool to see. So I highly, highly recommend Mudbound. It's available on Netflix right now. So don't forget to subscribe. A lot of good stuff to come. If you want to review us on iTunes, that would be amazing. And if you have not subscribed to us on iTunes or YouTube, don't forget to do that. Don't want to miss out, because I do live streams Monday through Friday all the time. So until next time, thank you so much, guys, for watching. This has been Matthew with the American Movie Podcast. Ba 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 ba.
I've been frozen for 30 years, okay? Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out.